I live in a small neighborhood home in the suburbs of a large city. I had a roommate that lived there with me for almost 3 years before he eventually moved out into his own place. And at that point, I was able to afford rent myself, so I didn't bother finding a new roommate. However, during the weeks following his absence, I began to experience things that I could not explain. I have never believed in anything paranormal, but now I am not so sure. I had to work late one night and didn't get home until 8. I did my usual and made dinner, then sat down to watch some TV. But as I sat on the couch, scrolling through movies to watch, I hear the wooden floorboards creaking upstairs. This wasn't entirely uncommon, due to the house being old, but it would happen often, and when it did, it always seemed like they creaked in a distinct pattern, as if someone was walking. It was definitely a bit creepy, but I learned to ignore it after a while. However, on this night, they continued for almost 30 minutes. I muted the TV and listened as the noises would travel slowly across the entire upstairs, moving room to room. This definitely freaked me out more than usual, and I thought that there may actually be someone upstairs. I stood up there and shouted, hoping to scare them out, or to at least know that it was just the old house, so I could continue with my night. But as soon as I shouted, the creaking stopped. I waited, listening for anything else, but after a few minutes of silence, I decided to check upstairs myself. I went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife, just in case, and then I made my way up. I went room to room, checking every inch of the place, but found nothing. Everything was where it had been, and there were no signs of anyone being here. I figured it had to be just a real big coincidence that the noise stopped as soon as I shouted, and I made my way back to the couch to try to forget about it. I ended up going to bed around 12. After watching a short movie, I laid there in bed for a while. I was really tired, but for some reason, I just couldn't fall asleep. After a little bit, I got up to use the bathroom. The way my house is just set up, my bedroom was the right side of the hallway. Upstairs and bathroom is right across from it on the left side. So I opened the door and stepped into the hallway, but just as I did that, I heard whispering voices coming from down the hallway and in the spare bedroom where my roommate used to stay. I stood there for a few seconds, listening and trying to collect myself. Then I slowly and quietly moved closer to the spare bedroom, and as I got up right next to the door, I leaned with my ear against it. It sounded like multiple voices whispering to each other, but it was indistinct or another language. As I stood there listening, the voices began getting louder and closer to the other side of the door until it seemed as though they were just inches away. Again, I never believed in anything paranormal before, and even then, I refused to believe it. I'm a bigger guy, and I don't get scared easily, so I angrily pushed the door open, ready to fight whoever was there. But with the door wide open, my whole world stood still, as I saw nothing but an empty room. In that moment, I was more terrified than I ever been in my entire life. The horror I felt surged through my body was unbearable. I turned around and ran out of the house and straight to my parked car. I sat in there, staring at the house as I called my roommate. It was so late I wasn't sure if he picked up, but thankfully he did. My voice was shaking as I told him what just happened. Even he could tell something was seriously wrong because he never seen or heard me scared like that. Honestly, he didn't sound too surprised though, as he mentioned multiple times that he heard things in that house before. What happened that night was an experience that I will never forget, and it has since changed my beliefs on the paranormal. Honestly, I don't even know what to believe anymore. It's been over a month since that happened, and I started sleeping on the couch downstairs every night instead of my bedroom. But still, every once in a while I wake up hearing something upstairs, moving slowly, creak in the wooden floor above me.